Hello guys and welcome to another programming tutorial. In this one, we're going to talk about a simple but useful concept. I think sometimes you may need to use, especially when you want to mimic something like Unreal Engine, that you kind of wanted to have set up some broadcasting or callback functions with member functions of classes. Okay, for example, I have a class animal maybe. Okay. And this animal class will have a public and a private sector. And for public, I just can start with just a very simple constructor, and it does have a function called set callback. Okay, and this set callback takes a function. Okay, so in this case, we can use hash include functional. Okay, maybe we can do a hash tab define animal callback function, right, which is from std function. Okay, and then this function type returns void, and it takes a void pointer, and it takes an integer. Okay, it takes two things. Okay, alrighty, and then our private member will be animal callback function. Okay, and then we just call this guy m_callback. Okay, right, and of course it takes that. Alright, now here, of course, in the actual body, oh, actually we don't have to, we could just do it right there, right? The actual body will be so we don't need to initialize that. Just for example purposes, we don't have to be too serious. So we can just say m callback equals to, callback, right? All right, so, and maybe we just have another function that we can do void invoke callback, right? And then maybe with a int value here, and what it does is basically call that callback with the value here, but also a pointer here. Now I want it to be passing a member variable from a class, so this will actually be always a null pointer in here. Okay, and when we're actually passing the callback, we actually have a way to specify that variable, that first slot, which is a void pointer, to be whatever we want fixed when this is called. Okay, and that's when another very useful tool called std band comes in. Okay, so let's say we have another class human, right? Just for instance, we don't need to do anything special here at all. So it does have a public constructor, right? And then it does have another function that's void call human, maybe, that takes an int. Okay, and then we can just say std cout, the value is, and then val end line. Okay, whoops, what's that? Oh, come on, I don't know what that is. Okay, of course we need to have the IO stream, right? So here, right, we have a class called human that just have a call human member function. Okay, now here in the main function, if we do create a class from animal, okay, we can do, right, animal in default constructor, and then we can create another one, create a human, right, and then we can say animal set callback, and we need to pass in a function, right? The function we need to pass in is a function, again, that's of this type that takes a void and an int, a void pointer and an int. Problem is we want to pass the human as call human function, which actually only takes an int from the surface. But if you have any knowledge of class, you know that there's a hidden argument, is actually this in here, and that's where that void pointer comes in. So this function signature here, even it looks like it's not the same as this, because this one takes one more, but this one actually is the same signature because this one takes a hidden first argument that is the pointer of the object. Okay, so they are actually compatible. Question is how we pass in so that we can make sure that the first argument will always be this human we're creating. We're doing this callback, right? That's when again std band came in. Okay, so here we can type in, we can do is std band. Okay, and then here we can do the address of human. Okay, column call human, right? And then the first argument will be human, and the second argument will be std placeholder, and then column underscore 2. Okay, right? So what this does is whenever you call here, whenever you call this, because you can, first of all, this compiles, right? There's no warning here. So this is passed in as basically becomes this private member. And when we call it, however, when we call it by doing this, even this is marked as null pointer because we specified as human here as the first argument. It doesn't really care what this is. It's going to be using this one. Only the ones that's placeholders will be the one that really will read the actual argument you passed in. So this argument is kind of like a placeholder now. It doesn't really do anything, right? Even you're calling it with null pointer, because you're setting it with a already specified value, right? Again, this is a already specified value. When you're calling this one that you're passing in, it doesn't matter the first argument, what value this first argument is using, it's going to use this one, right? That's basically what this is. Okay, so now if I do animal invoke for callback, this will just be fun, and then we can just call that. Okay, and we just need to pass in the value there, like 3 or something, right? So we can run this. Right, you can see the value is 3. We're indeed calling here. We reached here, right? Our calling reached to that function we need to go for. That's a member function, right? And the way we achieve that is to pass the human as like a fixed argument, which will override what's going on here when you're calling it, which the whole thing eventually work. So you can see now how we can actually now use member functions as callbacks with the specific object and pass it over to another object as a callback. All right, that's the basic idea here, right? And that's one of the C++ functional features. Function pointers are, it has one of the ugliest signature, but with std function, this feels a bit better, right? With those new types, and I think some of the modern ways of doing stuff is looking pretty cool. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.